One of the greatest things that the Walt Disney Company ever did was Tron Legacy. They're doing a sequel, and they just now got around to announcing Jeff Bridges as part of it. Let's talk about the rocky history of Tron 3 here on That Park Place. Hello, I am Jonas J. Campbell, an investigative reporter for That Park Place, and here with me is someone who fights for the users, Mr. VashSky. Vash, how you doing, man?
Doing very, very well. It's been a long time since I've been derezzed.
Derezzed? No, derezzed means you die in the digital space, right?
Right. So it's been a long time since I was transported into the world of Tron, and I am so excited actually to go back there, but with some caveats for sure. We'll get into it right now.
That's right. That's right. Let's get transported to the grid here. We're going to start off with this story out of WDW News Today. Jeff Bridges returning for Tron Ares. This by Shannon Ace. Look at that. It's Jeff Bridges right there, and he's playing Flynn, because Flynn lives, even though, spoiler alert, Flynn kind of dies at the end of Tron Legacy. But, he was kind of dead at the start of Tron Legacy. You need to go watch the movie. Here it is. Here is Jeff Bridges there with his, he's got his jaw pulled back as he's reading that script right there. This is not a perfect Jeff Bridges that I'm doing here, man, but that's your opinion if you don't think it's very good. I just love Jeff Bridges so much when he plays this role. He was great as Obadiah Stane, taking this hippie to play this capitalist here, or to have him playing Kevin Flynn here in Tron Legacy. He is a different character than he was in the original Tron, and that growth in there is so perfect. I love Jeff Bridges in Tron Legacy. I think he is pitch perfect in that movie. His whole "you're ruining my whole Zen" thing here.
Ruining my Zen thing, man. I love that line.
So good. All right. So first of all, base level reaction to this news, Vash.
Oh, I love it because, I really do like his depiction in Tron Legacy. It shows growth, obviously, for his first character, like you said before, but it's like the most Jeff Bridges role ever. it's just perfect. It's great. We were talking about this before the show. That last line right there, right before his son in the character, Garrett Hedlund's character, leaves him. He's looking there, and you got the bad Jeff Bridges character there, and he's like, "Oh, why are you doing this?" And it's like, he's my son. Mm-hmm. It's just such a human thing in this digital world right there, which was just really great in the flashback sequence and stuff like that. Just awesome. Jeff Bridges right there in that moment really commands that screen, commands that role, that paycheck right there for sure. I love everything about it. Love that he's coming back.
Yeah, I'm excited for it too. I think this is a really good thing for the movie. Whether or not it's going to be a good movie, we don't know. Let's talk a little bit about how we got here. First of all, Tron Ares is the last movie that Sean Bailey will be producing for the Walt Disney Company. It was also, Tron Legacy was the first one he came in on here. So it's kind of bookends on his, he was coming in as one came in and going out as the other one leaves here. But let's go all the way back in the Wayback Machine. We're not using the literal Wayback Machine. December 13th of 2012, in this article out of comicbookmovie.com, confirmed Garrett Hedlund to star in Tron 3. Third Tron movie gained a screenwriter last week, and now it has officially regained its star, as Hedlund confirmed during press for On the Road that he'll be back to traverse the grid one more time. Yeah, Hedlund said when we pressed him for details on Tron. Participation doing press in New York. Are we going to break this now? Disney's very excited, he said of the project. That's about that. I'm very excited. Disney is very excited. Jesse Wigatu is in negotiations to write the script, and Tron Legacy director Joseph Kosinski is returning to helm the third film. That is a little bit out of date now.
I think they also produced something like Flynn Lives, it was kind of like an ad for the next Tron Legacy, which I think would have been Flynn Lives. I think that's what they were going with right there, but it was starring Garrett Hedlund, and I believe Bruce Boxleiter was actually brought in order to voice over that whole Flynn Lives thing. You might be able to find it on YouTube, I'm not sure. They were really, really close here, and from what I understand, it was on the table, off the table. There was a point at which I think it was like mid 2015, 2016 or whatever. They were just about to fly to, I believe, Australia to start filming, and then cut right out from underneath them right before this whole thing.
Well, let's talk about a little bit about that. Tron 3 reportedly shooting this fall with Joseph Kosinski and Garrett Hedlund returning. We're jumping ahead to March 10th of 2015. this story out of the playlist. The box office return for Tron Legacy wasn't stellar, $400 million on a $170 million budget. It was enough to encourage Disney to keep the franchise going. Jesse Wigatow did get hired to write the script. Joseph Kosinski attached, and then not long after, just moving ahead, this one from 2018, Garrett Hedlund, Tron 3 fell through because of Tomorrowland. This was a tragedy to me. I was so excited that this movie was being done. I was a big fan of Tron Legacy, to find out that Tron 3 was going to happen and they were bringing back all of these characters. They probably were going to find some way to put Jeff Bridges in it. That's just a gut feeling, because you don't do these movies unless you have Jeff Bridges in them. But here it is. Garrett Hedlund admits Tomorrowland's poor box office performance affected Tron 3's chances of happening. Long-awaited sequels can be hit or miss. There's no guarantee that a film which was successful in 1 year can have a sequel release years later and be equally successful. Yeah, more on the Lion King prequel reboot later. But here it is. When the next Tron was supposed to start, we were greenlit and ready to go. And then Disney had troubles with how Tomorrowland did. And I think they asked them to give like 100 reasons why they should do Tron 3. And if that didn't fall through, I never would have been able to work with Steven Soderbergh on Mosaic.
I think it might have been also not just Tomorrowland, its performance, which did profoundly affect the studio. There's no question there, and had a lot of ramifications. But I think it was also they wanted to try another Pirates of the Caribbean, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yes, and we all know those do so well at the box office.
Yes. Well, that's the thing. There was a belief when Tron Legacy was in production that was going to be Disney's Avatar.
Right.
And do that kind of money. And it just really, really did not, which is really a shame, because as we said before, that film was really, really strong. But Jonas, I think you're bearing the lead here. I think the most devastating news to Tron 3, or even Tron Ares, happened in 2021. You know what that is?
I think I know where you're going to be heading with this. Please go ahead and let us all know about the knife through the heart about this film.
The amazing Daft Punk, which I believe they are they listed as composers on the soundtrack?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, the composers in association with others to create that amazing soundtrack that still resonates today. Interestingly enough, that was one of the best aspects of the Tron Light Cycle Power Run attraction that just opened in Shanghai and Magic Kingdom. Those songs still resonate. It's still one of the best soundtracks to ever be recorded for any film ever. I'm going to go ahead and put that out there right now.
Absolutely.
In 2021, Daft Punk, well, they are no longer a band anymore, and it's really, really sad.
And it hurts my heart, because they're amazing. Random Access Memories, excellent album. Tron Legacy soundtrack. I have written great works while listening to or things that were great, at least for me, listening to the Tron Legacy soundtrack. In fact, in prepping for this, I did mention that I know where the chairs squeak when they're recording the orchestral portion of this recording.
I was listening to a remix of the soundtrack while editing our last video. So like it still plays, it still works. It's so great. It's so sad that they won't be a part of this upcoming. Now I'm sure they'll get kind of close, with Ares, because you just can't not be somewhat derivative when you're working on something this iconic and so forth. So I'm sure they'll do something to kind of get that tone and feel, but it just won't be the same.
Well, maybe they'll incorporate some dubstep in there. Nothing against dubstep, but it's not Daft Punk. No. Forgive me. So let's jump a little bit farther ahead. Of course, Tron 3, the director said that 150 crew members were laid off for the strikes. That was just last year here. This story, Zach Sharf from Variety, August 15th of 2023. So that's not that long last year. And now we, of course, have this picture of, we're assuming this is Jared Leto here, and that this is in fact whoever it is. By the way, that's not a disc, that's a triangle. Just pointing that out. And I don't know if this is Tron or sorry, not Tron. I don't know if this is Ares or another character or whatever Jared Leto is playing here, but apparently this is in a vehicle that's in the real world. And now here we are, and just to bring this full circle, dude, Jeff Bridges is confirmed to be in this film. This is being directed by I'm not gonna do a good job of pronouncing this name. Joachim Roning. I don't think it's Joaquin, but it could be close to Joaquin. That would be the more Latin American pronunciation of this Nordic sounding name. It's obviously a different director. He's a guy that has done a lot of work for Disney, and he did a film called Kon-Tiki, I do believe, back in the day. He's also got Young Woman in the Sea that's coming up just in a few months. That was a Jerry Bruckheimer film that was originally going to be straight to Disney Plus until Disney admitted that Disney Plus is not profitable, so they better release it in theaters just so they can fill the slot. Vash, do you think that Jeff Bridges in this film is going to push it in the direction that it needs to go to bring in the audience?
Well, it will definitely improve things. There's no question about that. That's for sure. But that's the thing, though, that we're missing some elements here. That's the really kind of scary part about this. I don't think Garrett Hedlund is associated with this Tronares here. I haven't heard his name pop up there. Right. So that's not good. And then not to go with Joseph Kosinski. You would have really thought that Disney would have called him up immediately after the success that was Maverick and say, hey, look, listen, let's go ahead. Let's get the band back together again. This seems like an appropriate time, which, I mean, it was. I don't think you can make an argument for it, but he's not attached to this project, so you have another director setting it, I'm guessing going to emulate his style somewhat, but also taking a new direction right here. I'm just not sure about this film. Jeff Bridges, that's the best get that I've seen so far, but like I said, though, we're missing elements.
Yeah, no, I agree. And so Joseph Kosinski obviously has an amazing style. That style seemed to have gotten him Oblivion, which was with Tom Cruise, which led him on to some tiny little indie picture that made a little bit of money, otherwise known as Top Gun Maverick.
Yes.
You could argue that movie was going to be fantastic, whether or not Joseph Kosinski was the director, but he obviously contributed to a very big film, an amazing film, a film that reminds us all what an action movie can be. I mean, really good movie. I cannot emphasize enough. Top Gun Maverick was awesome. So, and now you've got this guy that he directed Maleficent 2. I'm talking about Joachim over here. He directed Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, which, I consider myself a person who is very forgiving when it comes to films. They don't have to be amazing if you just keep it going. And I literally, it was like I came out of a trance at some point and I saw Chiwetel Ejiofor with some kind of weird sprite, like he had feathers and horns. And I just thinking to myself, how in the world did we get here? It's a strange... It's a strange film, and this guy is also in charge of the Pirates of the Caribbean 6. As maybe there's been an update since then, but he's worked with Bruckheimer and he's worked with Disney, so that makes sense on some level here. So I don't know if he's a hired gun. More success to him. I want a good Tron film, and Jeff Bridges being here pushes that in the direction of it being at least something that honors the legacy of Tron Legacy.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. At this point, we probably need to throw it to our commenters. Vash, do you have anything else to say before we move on?
No, I was going to just say that Joseph Kosinski, I think it was his first film, Tron Legacy. Some of those scenes were shot with IMAX cameras, 3D, really kind of complicated production right there, and an ambitious visual style that I think really worked. I know it was divisive at the time, but I think it really has held up quite nicely. Tronares sounds interesting, but I don't know. I don't know if it's going to achieve those previous heights, but we'll see.
Yep, we will see. And of course, we want to throw this to our commenters here. Are you excited that the dude has abideth to be in this film? Are you going to be seeing Tron Ares when it comes into theaters, or are you waiting for that trailer to drop? And we'll see if they go ahead and ape some of that Daft Punk soundtrack in order to try to sell it a little bit more. Of course, like this video if you like this video, and consider subscribing to That Park Plays for all the news that should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.